Welcome to the first year online library orientation. We're going to go ahead and start by going to the library's website, which you can find at nec.edu/library. And we will check out the home page. So first things first, you'll see this large yellow box at the top of the screen. That's for notifications from the library. So if there's a service outage, a change to our hours, some sort of information that we need to communicate to students, that will normally pop up there. And we can close that if we wish. Now, if you need to get in touch with the library, the best way to get in touch with us is by emailing libraryhelp@nec.edu. You'll see that's up in the banner, and if you scroll down, there's a little contact us box, which also has our phone number. In addition to that, if you need help, we also have a YouTube channel with a variety of short tutorials, including this one, which is linked down here. And if you need to get in touch with one of the librarians individually, you can click on their name, and that should open up an email to that person. Additionally, on the right-hand side, you'll see our hours are listed. Right now they're varying, as well as links for the Writing and Academic Support Center, which is located upstairs, as well as IT. But we're going to go ahead and scroll up. Now, most of what you need to do research through the library is going to be located right on our homepage. So the first thing I want to show you is Discovery, which is right here. It's this big search box in the center of the page. And what Discovery is basically a way to search through everything that we have. So all of our individual research databases, our book catalog, our ebook catalog, as well as our streaming video database and several open access databases filter into this search, which really makes it a very powerful tool. It's kind of your one-stop research shop. So we'll go ahead and we will do a search here. And we're going to do a search initially for gym class. We'll click search. Now, anytime you do a search in Discovery, unless it's a very specific search, you will likely get very large search results. So in this case, we have over 1.4 million results. And you'll notice that you're going to have a variety of sources. So in this case, we have ebooks, academic journals. If we scroll down some more, you'll see there's a newspaper article. We have a Sports Illustrated article. So you're going to get a variety of sources popping up. And that's because we're pulling from so many different research databases that we subscribe to. Now, if I want to access one of these sources, all I need to do is come down here where it says Access Now or Access Options. If the item that I'm looking for is not available, when I click Access Options, it's going to show a link to request that item through interlibrary loan. So even if something's not available to read right away, we can normally still get it for you just by having you fill out that form that this will link you to. And we'll look at that in a bit. Now, scrolling up, let's say I want to read this ebook. All I need to do is click that button, and it's going to open up the book right in the browser. And then on the right-hand side, I'll have the table of contents. Let's back up. For an academic journal, I'll click Access Options, and it's going to show me where that article is located. So in this case, this is located outside of Discovery. So when I click on this, it's going to take me to Hein Online and pull up the article here in a separate tab. Now, we'll close out that tab, scroll down again. For something located in Discovery, it will either just have a PDF or show options for PDF and HTML. So if I click Access Now here, that's going to pull up that article along with the options for the article up here at the top of the page. So if we look at the top of the page, we can search in the article. It says it's coming soon, so not yet. We can click on the headphones to have it read to us. We can cite the article by clicking on the quotation marks. And we can also print or share the article with somebody else. There's folder options. To use those folder options, you have to sign up for a My EBSCO account, which is free, and you can do that. But if we're just using this right off the bat, that's not something we're going to have access to. So we'll go ahead and back up. Now on this page, we have some additional options, and you can see by clicking on the three dots that we can get access to the tools. Now those are going to be the same tools that we saw at the top of the page on the previous screen. So when we click that, you're going to see we have Cite, Add to Project, Share, or Download if we want to just download the article. Now let's go ahead and we'll click Cite and we'll see how that works. So anything you find in Discovery, you can get a citation right away. When we come here, it's going to show us this in the Brazilian National Standards style. So to change this to a style that we would use, we can just click on that drop-down menu and select one of the styles that our class would be using. So we'll go ahead and select APA. Then I can click Copy to Clipboard and paste that into a Word doc. Now, if I'm using an outside citation management tool, I can export the citation by clicking up here, and that will give me my options. So if you use something like EasyBib, RefWorks, EndNote, you just have to click that and follow it through to add the citation to that tool. We'll go ahead and close that. Now, if I click on the title of the article, that's going to take me to the article record. So this is where I would go if I need the publication information for this article. If I scroll down, we'll see authors. We'll see where the article was published. So in this case, physical educator. The language. We'll have subject terms. So every article, every item in a research database will normally be assigned a set of subject terms, and those really give you an idea of what that article is about. And we can even do a search for that particular subject if we click on the link. But I'm going to scroll down and show you the abstract. So the abstract is basically a summary of what that article is about. If it's a research article, it will summarize the findings. If it's a newspaper or magazine article, it's just going to summarize what the article is about. This is really the first place you want to go if you're deciding whether or not you want to use that article for a project or a paper. It's a quick way to kind of suss out whether it's going to be useful for your research topic. If we scroll down some more, we'll have some other information, but that's less important for our needs. And then if we want to return to the results, we can click Results. Okay, we'll scroll down some more and look at another article. So you'll see here, it's to an outside source. If we click this link, it's going to take us to Credo reference. And then we can read that article here. We'll hop back. So anytime you're going to something outside of Discovery, it's going to open up a new tab. I'll scroll down again. Access options. Okay. This article is not available in full text, but maybe I want to use it for my research. What I can do is just click on the link, and that's going to pull up a form. Now, all I need to do to request this item is fill out my information, and then the article information has already been filled out for me, and I just need to come down here and click Submit. Normally, it will take the library a few days to get that article from another library, and we will email you the PDF. If for some reason we're unable to obtain it, we will also let you know that we were unable to get that article for you. In most cases, though, we can normally find it. Okay, so let's scroll all the way back up to the top. Now, 1.4 million results is huge, and I don't know that everything within these search results is going to be relevant to my research topic. When we do a search like this, we are doing what's called a keyword search. And a keyword search is just looking for my search terms anywhere within the article. So in this case, it's pulling back every article that has the word gym and the word class, and not even necessarily that phrase. If the word gym appears somewhere and the word class appears somewhere else, that's going to show up in my search results. Now, the database will rank these by relevance and will pull up articles and materials with that phrase up to the top, but there will be a lot of material that is maybe not so relevant. And really what we want to do then with a search like this is figure out ways to narrow down our search results. And we can do that by using the filters at the top of the page. So you'll notice we have several buttons. The one to the right here is going to show, it says all time. And what this is a way to limit our search results by publication date. So if I click on the drop-down arrow, it's going to give me some options. I can limit my results by items published within the last year, last 5 years, or last 10 years. So if we go ahead and click on one of these, that's going to narrow my results down to everything published within the last 5 years. Now, if I want to remove that, I'll just come back here and click all time. The next button you'll see is this peer-reviewed button. So as you would think, when we click on this, it's going to narrow our search results down to only items from peer-reviewed journals. So for a lot of your projects, you're going to be required to use either peer-reviewed journals, or they may be called academic or scholarly journals. This is a really nice and easy way to ensure that you're getting those sorts of sources. So when I click on that, it's going to turn blue, and then it's going to narrow my search results down so that everything that appears in those results is from a peer-reviewed publication. Now, if we click on that again, it's going to expand my search back to its original form. The next button here says online full text, and that's what we would click if we wanted to narrow our results down to only things I can read right away. So when we do this, we're removing all of those items that would have that interlibrary loan request button. Typically, we would really only want to use this if we needed something right away. And again, it turns blue to show that it's on. So if we click that again, it's going to go clear, and we're back up to 1.4 million. Now, normally what I as a librarian like to use is all filters. So that's going to show these again, but also include more options. Now, virtually every research database has some form of filter. In some, they'll be called limiters or facets. In Discovery, they're called filters, and they just allow you to filter your results based on the criteria that you select. So you'll notice, again, we have online full text as an option, we have peer-reviewed as an option, and we have date range, which is our publication date filter. So if I click on the arrow, that's going to give me my options, and you'll notice here we have more options than we did just at the top of the page. So now I can select a custom date range rather than limiting myself to 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years. So say I was looking for items published since 1980, so we want to get older than 10 years, but not quite so ancient as 1847. I can enter in that date range, and then come down here and click Apply Filter. And that's going to narrow my results down to everything published after 1980. Now to remove that, I just have to come back up here and click All Time, or go back over to All Filters and click the X next to my active filter and click Apply. So now our search is back to its original form, and we will go back to all filters. So again, we've got more filter options. The two I'm going to show you and focus on are source types and subject. So if we click on the arrow next to source types, that's where we would go to select the type of material that we want. So with a discovery search, since we're pulling from so many different places, so many different research databases, you're going to see a lot of different source types. If we come down here and click the more, you'll see even more. So this is where I would go if I was looking, specifically for, say, newspaper articles or magazine articles, to select one of those options. If I was looking for books, you'll see ebooks pop up here as well as print books. If we scroll down further, we can find dissertations, we can find videos. Really, it allows us to be a little bit intentional about the type of material that we want. So we'll go ahead and select magazines, and we'll click Apply Filters. And that's going to narrow my search results down to 97,000 plus magazine articles. And if we go through, we'll look, they're all tagged periodical, and you can see where they were published. So we've got Sports Illustrated, Scholastic News, and so on. We'll scroll back up. So let's select a couple of these and see how we can take a broad search and narrow it down to something more specific. So we're going to go ahead and come back to all filters. We'll clear out magazines. And let's do peer-reviewed. And we'll come to source types and select academic journals. So we're saying we want peer-reviewed academic journals, and we will click Apply Filters, which cuts it down from 1.4 million to under 75,000. Still a very large number. But we can come back up here, go back to our filters page, and look at subject. So what this is a list of subject headings within my search results. So as we mentioned before, with keyword searching, we're not necessarily pulling back relevant research articles or relevant material. It's just material that has my keywords somewhere within the text. But if we go through and look at subject headings, this will give us a better sense of what these articles are about. So if I scroll through and select a subject heading that really fits my research topic well, I can really narrow down my search results very quickly to something that will be relevant for my research project. To the right of them, you'll see the number of articles that have that subject heading within my search results. So if we scroll down, and let's say that we are really focused on teaching methods, we can select that. And we can select multiple articles or multiple subject headings if we wish, but we'll go with one right now and select that and apply filter. Now I can be reasonably sure that the 798 articles with teaching methods as a subject heading and my keywords are going to be somewhat relevant to my research project. Now, 798 is still a large set of search results when you're doing this kind of searching. And really what we ought to do is refine our initial search by adding some more search terms and maybe selecting a few more subject headings. But for an overview of discovery, this is a pretty nice example. Now, I mentioned before the My EBSCO account, and that is going to give you access to the dashboard on the left-hand side of the screen. Again, you don't have to sign up for this if you don't want to, but it will kind of open up discovery and provide a bit more functionality for you. So if we click up here on the right, you'll see My EBSCO. And this is where we would go to create an account. Again, an account is free. You would set it up the way you would any other account. I'm going to go ahead and click Sign In. And I'll enter in my username and then my password, click Sign In, and it's going to bring me back to my search results. So we'll see here. Now I have access to my dashboard where I can create projects, I can save articles for later use, and I can even save my searches. So now if I come across an article that I really want to use for my project, all I need to do is click up here where it says Save, and that's going to appear under my saved in my saved articles in my dashboard. If I click the three dots, I can then also add this to a project. So if I click Add to Project, we can choose a project or create a new project. We'll go ahead and create a new project, and we'll call it Gym Class Teaching Methods, and create. And you'll see it notifies me in the upper right hand side that I've created a new project and I've added that article to it. So now when I go over to projects, you'll see that project appear, and if I click on that project, the article is here and there is a link to get back to that article. Now let's go over to the overview in my dashboard. This is where you can come if you want to see an overview of everything you have, from projects to saved articles, just using that bookmark, as well as searches. So if we click on searches, that's going to show me my most recent searches. And if I want to go to a previous search, I just have to click on the search string, as it's called. In this case, it's just gym class, and it's going to bring me back to that search. So anytime we click on a search, it's going to save that search with the filters, and anytime I add new filters, it will create a new search within that searches option. So let's say we want to limit to articles from the last year, and maybe come to all filters and select another subject heading. So let's say aversion. Click apply. Now when I come back to searches, that most recent search with 4 filters is going to appear there. So really a nice way to keep track of your research and the searches you're using, as well as the articles that you want to use for a project or a paper. And it allows you to be able to access this account from any device or computer without having to use the same device every time you're doing research. So if you hop on a computer in the computer lab, or you're on your phone, you can then access those previous searches or that set of articles that you have in project. Okay, so let's go back to the home page. Now, Discovery is probably the most used tool that we have. But sometimes you'll find that your search results are too huge and you're really unable to find relevant research when using something like Discovery. And that's really when you might find it helpful to use a more subject-specific research database. So that would be a database that collects material for a certain research field or topic. And you can find those smaller databases by clicking on the next tab over. So if you come to this tab, you'll see there's a link to an alphabetical listing of every research database that we subscribe to. So we'll go ahead and click on that. And again, if you know what you want, you can just hop down to it, or you can read the descriptions for each of these, which explain what that database carries. Or we can hop back to that tab and look at the drop-down menu for databases by subject listing. So what this allows me to do is select a particular field of study, and then look at and see the databases that we subscribe to within that field of study. So for instance, if I'm doing research that is focused on gym class and teaching methods, I might want to look at education-specific databases. So when I click on that, that's going to pull up all of our education databases. So each of these databases collect a different grouping of education related journals, and really are a great way to kind of create a more focused search rather than using something like Discovery, which is pulling from not just education databases, but every single database that we have. So, psychology, business, health science, and really, if my research project is focused primarily on, teaching gym class, what I would want to do is kind of focus in on those research journals that would be relevant to my topic. So this is a great way to keep our search results low and keep them more relevant to our topic. So just to give you an example, we'll go ahead and click on Eric. And we'll do the same search in Eric. And rather than getting 1.4 million results, we get 50 results. Now, these results will show up in my discovery search because it's pulling in from every database that we have, but they'll be harder to find. And then once I'm here, I can either go through all 50 because it's a relatively small number, or I have similar filter options on the left-hand side. Now, in this database, they're called limiters, but again, we can limit to full text, peer-reviewed, by publication date. So let's say we want, from the year 2000 on, we'll go ahead and type in 2000 and hit enter. And that's going to narrow down my search from 50 to 31. We can also look at source types and subject headings. And the great thing with using these subject-specific databases is they will have very specific subject area jargon as subject headings. So these are going to be narrower, but they will also be more consistent. So every single database has its own set of subject headings. So anytime you're going through and doing research, it can be helpful to look through these and write down the various subject headings to use in a future search, either as a keyword or doing a subject heading search. We'll go ahead and click cancel, and let's back up to our list of education databases, and we will look at another one. So we're going to come down here and we'll click on Social Sciences Education Database from ProQuest. And we will try the same search. And you'll notice that with each of these, we're getting different search results, different numbers of results, and that's because they carry different journals. And in the ProQuest databases, we'll tend to get slightly larger results. So in this, we get a little bit under 31,000. Again, it's still not 1.4 million. And we have, again, the same or similar options on the left-hand side of the screen. So if we want to limit to peer-reviewed, we'll check that box. And that's going to narrow it down to under 5,000. We can narrow to only scholarly journals by clicking on that link under source type. And we can look at publication date. So we'll go ahead and either drag this over or enter in a date range. we can just type in the year if we want. So let's say 1989. And that's going to narrow it down to everything published after 1989. And we can also come down to subjects. And click the arrow, click more. And that's going to show me the subject headings again, and I can select the ones that are relevant to my research topic. And in this particular database, I can also exclude ones that are maybe not relevant to my research project. So we'll go ahead and select children and youth and physical fitness. We'll click apply. That's going to narrow it down to 956. And one of the nice things with these smaller databases, I can come back to that subject limiter, and I can limit from my remaining results. So we'll go through and find something that is relevant, say teaching methods, and click apply. And what that's going to do is take my set of search results that have children and youth and physical fitness as a subject heading and narrow them down to only the ones that also have teaching methods as a subject heading. So that's a nice way of taking a very broad search and narrowing it down to relevant material. And just like with Discovery or ERIC, we have similar options to read this article. You'll see it either says full text or full text PDF. We can also read the abstract by going to abstract/details, so we'll go ahead and do that. And again, it gives me the abstract, so I can read the summary of the article. I can also look at that article's subject headings and its citation or publication information here. We'll back up. And similar to Discovery, if I want to get a citation for this, that's going to be located over here with the quotation marks. So if I want to get that citation, we'll click on that. I can copy that citation here. I can change the citation style. So we're going to want the most recent APA version, and we can paste it from there. And if I want to export this to a citation manager, those options are down here. So we have RefWorks, EndNote, as well as EasyBib and some other ones. Now, if I want to share this article, you'll see there's a little envelope that allows me to email that. And again, like with Discovery, we have a folder system. This one is called My Research. And just like with Discovery, you would have to sign up for that account, which we won't go through today. But basically, individual databases will have their own folder systems in a lot of cases, and each of those requires an account. The account that I have chosen to use, which I think is most helpful for students, is the one in Discovery, because Discovery is going to pull from all of these individual disparate databases into one search. But if you are interested in learning more, we will have a video on some of those folder options in the future. Okay. Now, let's say I am looking for a particular publication and I'm not sure if the library carries that. I can come to the next tab over, which is Publication Finder, and I can search here to see if Danforth happens to have that publication in one of their online databases. You can see I've done this quite a bit. So let's say we want to see if Danforth has access to the New York Times. I'll just do a search for New York Times, click the button, and that's going to pull up my results and show me every version of the New York Times that we carry, which databases it's located in, and the years of publication that we have. If I want to browse the New York Times or do a search within that publication, all I need to do is click one of these links. And that's going to bring me to the publication page within the research database for the New York Times. So now I can do a search within this, or I can browse issues from here, or read articles from the latest issue. One of the nice things with Publication Finder, if you have a citation, you can see if we carry the publication and then do a search for the title of the article that you're trying to find. Okay, we will back up. Also in Publication Finder, we can browse subjects. So if I don't know the publication I want, but I know I want, say, kinesiology research journals, I can browse under K and see if there is a particular subject area for kinesiology, which there is. And you'll see we have 15 publications. I can click on that. And that's going to pull up all of our publications, journals, ebooks, and things that have been labeled as kinesiology and exercise science. So then I can go through and browse those journals to see if maybe there's something on my topic, or if I'm just interested in reading reading one of those journals, we can go through and click on one of the database links and then browse through that publication the way you would any other publication. So that can be a helpful way of kind of attacking a research project when you are not quite sure of what you want to research yet. I would suggest finding a publication in that field and reading a few articles, going through a few issues and seeing what people are writing about. So we will go ahead and go back to the home page. The next tab over is for the library's catalog. This is going to show you primarily our print collection, but also we'll have ebooks linked here. If we click on one of those links, we can do a keyword search for a particular book, and it will show us if we carry it as either a print book or an ebook. So let's say we just do a search for gym class and see if we have any books with that keyword. That's going to show me if we carry it. It'll show if it's available. And we have our other options. If it's a print book, if it's here, it will show in green that we have it. It'll show that it's in our collection, and you'll have the call number listed for the book if you wanted to track it down. Now, as an online student, you don't have ready access to the print collection, but we can check out books to you and mail them to you if you request us to do so. Just email us at Library Help, and we can work with you to get you a book if it's part of our collection. If it's from another library, it'll show in yellow, and in most cases we will suggest that you work with your local public library to see if they can obtain the book through interlibrary loan. If it's an ebook, so let's go ahead and we're actually going to narrow down using, again, filters on the left-hand side. And we'll go to e-content collection, select that. Cloud Library is the service that we use for our kind of popular fiction ebooks, and it will show you what ebooks we have through Cloud Library. If you're interested in using Cloud Library, I would suggest getting in touch with us or checking out the ebook guide on our website. I'm going to back up here. I should also point out that we also have a huge collection of ebooks available through EBSCOhost, which will show up in a discovery search, and you can also find by coming to the databases tab and selecting ebooks from the drop-down menu. You can see that database here. The next tab over is Credo Reference. This is basically a search for encyclopedia articles, dictionaries. They're not going to be necessarily sources you would use in a research project, but they're more helpful in getting to know you know, getting to know a topic in a general sense. Think of it as a sort of more academic Wikipedia. Our next tab over is Films on Demand, and this is our streaming video collection. And really what it carries are documentaries, theatrical performances, newsreel footage, and kind of a variety of archival historical footage. So if we click on the link, that's going to take us to the database. And as I've mentioned numerous times, these do filter into discovery searches. And then we can do a search, though, but we can do a search within Films on Demand if we want just streaming video. So when we do our search for gym class, we're going to get every video that features that. And if I want to watch, just click the play button. If I want to share, we can click share, and we can create playlists. And like any other database, they're going to have their own folder system, which we won't go through now, but it's there if you need it. Close that out. Lastly, our final tab is citation resources. This is where you would go if you need help with citing your sources or formatting a reference page, bibliography, works cited page. We have 3 main citation guides, one for APA, one for Chicago, and one for MLA. If we click the APA one, that's going to link you to a variety of resources for the APA citation style. We have example citations. You can tab through that. We have a PDF quick guide, a guide for in-text citations, as well as links to some outside help, such as the Purdue Online Writing Lab, which is a very good APA and MLA guide to citations, very thorough. Now, if you are interested in using a citation manager, we have a subscription to one called RefWorks, which I mentioned earlier. And you can get to that by clicking on the link here. Now, this is going to log me in automatically to my RefWorks account. But if you've never used RefWorks before, it's going to take you to this page. And as we keep running into, it requires its own account. In order to create an account using our subscription, you're going to come, excuse me, you're going to come down here and click Create Account, and then you're going to use your NEC email. That's the important thing. Use your NEC email to sign up for RefWorks, and then you will automatically get access to our subscription and all of the kind of premium tools available through RefWorks. Now let's go back here, and I'm going to log into my RefWorks account. Click Sign In. And that's going to take me to a page with all references. A couple of things about this page. I currently have it set so that it's showing in the citation view. The default is this, which is kind of just a listing of the article's citation information. So what I like to do is come up here, select citation view, and you'll notice it's going to show the last citation style I used. So that's going to be the kind of citation I have. Now the nice thing about citation view is it's going to show me if I'm missing any information. So say page numbers, issue number, and if it's kind of necessary for the citation, it's going to have this triangle with the exclamation point and be yellow. If it may or may not be absolutely necessary, it'll be blue with a question mark. So if I want to enter in, say, this issue number, all I need to do is click on this, and it's going to pull up the edit page for that citation, bring me to the issue field, and I can fill that out there and click Save. Go ahead and cancel, though. If I'm going through and I want to edit any of these citations, I just have to click on them, and it's going to open up the edit page for that citation. Very easy to fill out. Now, RefWorks, again, it takes you to an all references page, but the way it works is you have projects and you have folders. Up here we have listed our project. My recommendation is just create one for all of your college work, but you can certainly create more if you come up here. I only have one for New England College, but if we come up here and click Manage Projects, we can then create new projects, and we can either share a project or rename a project over here. Let's back up. Now, once you've created your initial project, then you can create folders. So over here we have your folders, and we can add a folder very easily. So let's say first year, click Save, and that's going to show up in my list of folders. I can also create subfolders by clicking on the three dots, so we can add a subfolder. I can share a folder very easily, and I can look for duplicate folders or delete that folder. If I click Share Folder, that's going to pull up my share settings. I can create a link with Create Public URL, or I can invite people to share it by email, giving them the option to either only read, create notes, or actually edit and modify the citations and add citations to that folder. So this can be very helpful if you're working on a group project and you want to create a folder for your group where everybody who's doing research can add citations to that folder. Go ahead and click Done. Now, if I want to add something to this folder, we can do that a couple of different ways. If I have a PDF of the article, so a lot of articles in research databases will come in PDF form where you can save the file to your computer. All I have to do to add that article is drag and drop it into the circle here or into my window, and RefWorks will automatically pull whatever citation information is there from that PDF. If I want to manually add a citation, I can do so up here by clicking Add, and we have upload options here where we can click Create New Reference, which is going to pull up this page, and then I just go through and first select the reference type. So is it a journal article? Is it a book? Is it a magazine article? I can also search for the kind of source. So let's say we're looking for a newspaper article. We can do that. And once I've selected the reference type or type of source, this is going to change and adjust the fields to what I need for that kind of reference. So then all I need to do is go through and fill out the information. So article title, authors, just fill out as much information as I have, and then click Save to add that article. But again, one of the nice things with something like RefWorks is it works really well with our research databases. So let's hop back to Discovery, and we will go ahead and do a search. So let's say gym class and special education. So we're going to get a little bit more specific with the search. We'll narrow this down to peer-reviewed items and maybe published within the last year. And going through, let's say I want to add this article to my RefWorks account. Pretty straightforward. We click on the three dots, click where it says Cite. Then I'm going to come over here to Export Citation and select RefWorks. So that's going to open up a new tab, ask me to assign it to a folder. So we already have our first year folder set up. And then click Import. And boom, we go to last imported. That citation will be there. If I go to my folder, that's going to be in that folder. Now, if I want to access that article again, it's actually linked right here within the citation. So we can just click on that. And it's going to take me right to the article. Going back to our RefWorks page. Now you may notice that in this case the author's name is in all caps. That's something we would want to edit. So I'll go ahead and click on this. So we're going to go ahead and remove this author's name and retype it just without the all caps, and then click save, and it's automatically fixed. And now if I want to create a bibliography, it's pretty straightforward. So let's go over to another one of our folders. And if I want to create a bibliography from this set of citations, I'm just going to come up here, click create bibliography, and then click that again. And that's going to automatically format this bibliography in the last citation style I chose, which was MLA. If I want to change this, I just click up here, and I can search for the style I want. So we will do a search for APA 7th edition, and then we can select the style we want. It'll automatically update this. And you'll notice next to these styles there are stars. So if I click on those stars, it's going to show that citation style in my favorite style. So it's a good way, once you've found the citation style that you want to use, just add it to your favorite styles, and then you can just make sure you're using that or switching back and forth between styles that you use. So if we wanted to hop back to MLA, we could do so here. And then all we need to do is click copy and then paste that into a Word doc or Google Doc from here. Now, if I am looking for an in-text citation, we can come back to our folder. I'll click Create Bibliography and then click Quick Cite. So Quick Cite is going to take me through the process of selecting a citation style first, and then give me the option to choose whether or not I want an in-text citation. So we'll click that, click Continue, and then for any of the articles in my folder, if I want to get an in-text citation, just check the box next to it, and it's going to generate that up here, and I can copy it and then paste it into a Word doc. If we click Continue, that's going to take me to the selected reference here, and we can copy and paste that individual citation or select multiple citations to create a full bibliography. Boom. We'll go ahead and hop back. There are a couple of other nice things that come along with RefWorks, and you can find those under Tools. So if we click Tools and then click Tools again, there are a couple of different tools that we can use or add to our computer. So here we can install Save to RefWorks, and that's just going to show up in your bookmarks. You can see I have mine up here. What that allows you to do is add websites to your RefWorks account and cite individual web pages without having to manually fill out the information. So as an example, so let's say we wanted to do a search for the same search terms, say gym class special education. Now if there is a web page that I want to cite in my paper, I can come here, travel to the website, then click Save to RefWorks, and it's going to open up RefWorks over here and fill out the information for the article. If there's additional information, I can fill that out, and then scroll down to the bottom, click Save to RefWorks that way. Then it will ask me for a folder and whether I would like to travel to the account. Another tool that we have on this page is the RefWorks add-on for Microsoft Word and Google Docs. So really what this allows you to do is access your RefWorks account directly from your Word document or your Google Doc, so you don't even have to open up the browser to add citations or add a reference page at the end of your paper. You just access RefWorks directly from the doc. Saves you some time in having to copy and paste things and reformat it. Very straightforward. Okay, we'll go ahead and close this. If you need help with research, citation, or just about anything else, please email us at libraryhelp@nec.edu. We are also available by phone and available to meet over Zoom, which you can schedule, again, by emailing us at libraryhelp. Thank you, and have a great day.